OK, let's go back to the fan zone, if we may. Nigel, you've heard from some of the players involved. Jasmine Birtles, I think, made a really important point. We must never lose sight of this. The importance of Derby County Football Club, not just to people who have followed the club since childhood, like you and Adrian Coates sitting next to you and so many thousands of other people in Derby and beyond. It's the impact of the club, if this goes under, to morale locally, to the local economy.
Yeah, it's huge. And, you know, it's easy to throw around huge and important words like that, but it really is. You know, it is. If you look at the catchment area, this is not a club that has several others on its doorstep. You know, it is Derby County for a reason. It is the whole county of Derbyshire. Chesterfield fans in the north might argue there's a little enclave up there, but it has a huge catchment area. You know, it pulls in fans from lots of different areas, towns and around Derbyshire. We saw there that the stadium sold out last week against Birmingham with the 32,000 plus people in there. When it was in the Premier League, not so long ago, there were 32,000 there every week. The potential for the club is huge. The potential for somebody coming in is huge. Yes, there have been errors made. There have been costs run up. But you would feel that given that there's been a bit of a reset in terms of salaries in football, which is ultimately, you know, one of the biggest problems around, that now, post-COVID, people can get that back on a better keel. I'm not sure it's going to be perfect, but on a better keel. And the club can be run in a more sustainable way, which is what we all want. And hopefully it can be a lead for other football clubs to also be run sustainably. And then the wider football community can be hopeful that they don't find themselves in the situation that we at Derby County find ourselves in right now.
Adrian, it was that match against Birmingham, Midlands rivals, of course, where your team equalised at the death of the match to get that vital point, 2-2 against Birmingham. That's what really sparked my interest in this story, reading that on the sports pages and thinking about the business issues behind it. What was the atmosphere like among fans when that 2-2 equaliser went in?
Well, I wasn't in the ground, but I think it was euphoric. It's almost got to the point where we hope we can actually survive, despite all the damage that the English Football League has done to our prospects. It looks as if we might just be able to survive. There's 4 clubs down there, and clearly Derby are the form club of the 4. That's assuming that Wayne doesn't lose more players, or the English Football League imposes yet more fines and obstacles to getting a solution to Derby. I mean, to my mind, to come back to Andrew Bridgen, there is something he can do. The English Football League believes that football debts are a priority. So this is what's created the problem with Middlesbrough and Wycombe. They've decided that Middlesbrough and Wycombe are football debts. This strikes me as utterly incompatible with UK insolvency law. Yeah. I'd like to know from the government whether this is even legal. And my question to Andrew is, if it is by some quirk legal, he's the governing party. He should make it the case that it's not legal. Absolutely. Let's get the Middlesbrough and Wycombe blackmail attempts off the table.
Of course, Middlesbrough and Wycombe would deny that characterisation of the debts that are purportedly owed to them in their view. I just need to make that clear. Andrew Bridgen, let's go back to you. You are a very, very experienced parliamentary operator. You've shown that over the years. You've got your ear to the ground. You care deeply on behalf of your constituents about Derby County Football Club. What's your instinct about what's going to happen over the next few weeks? Not so much on the pitch, and we'll see if Derby can stay in the Championship, but off the pitch, where it really does count now for the Derby faithful.
Liam, I'd just like to come back on the point about football debts. I've actually been party with other MPs to meetings with HMRC to discuss this very issue. The issue of football debts is if a football club goes into insolvency, preferential creditors are decided by the English Football League as football debts have to be paid at 100%, or there's various penalties that will come against you and you lose your place in the Football League. So they are treated as preferential creditors. And quite rightly, as has been pointed out, the English Football League have caused a problem by allowing Wycombe and Middlesbrough's claims against the club, which have not been substantiated in court for huge amounts of money, to be classed. Well, they won't decide whether they're football debts or not football debts. That creates uncertainty. I've spoken with HMRC. At the drop of the hat, HMRC would get rid of these unique rules for football and make all creditors equal. Obviously, the English Football League would claim that as football clubs quite often go into financial difficulty, that this would actually impoverish the whole of football. However, I don't see why, if it's being run as a business, there should be special rules for football clubs as opposed to the suppliers to that club, which may be in hospitality or equipment or anything, who are under different rules. At the end of the day, it's a business. It should be treated like a business. I think the English Football League, the way they've conducted the matters with Derby County, I think they need to be tread very, very carefully, because I'm not the only parliamentarian who's asking questions about this arrangement with the HMRC.